Hi, I'm Gary Bowden and welcome to the spring edition of Xara TV tutorials at XaraXone.com. This month, I'm going to take you through something distinctly American, the garage sale. How to create and print the perfect sign for posting on public utilities and telephone poles, and you never take it down after the sale's done and it becomes part of the fossil record. For those of you outside of the continental United States who might not know what a garage sale is, it's also called a yard sale, a rummage sale, a jumble sale, and here's a computer simulation to show you.
The seller puts all the junk in their basement on the driveways while buyers come and sift through the refuse. They decide on something and pay the seller pennies on the dollar. Then next week, the seller becomes the buyer and goes to the neighbor's garage sale and does the same thing. It's the American way of distributing wealth.
Now, what you'll design doesn't have to be a garage sale. It can be a lemonade stand, it can be a bake sale, it can be a sports league sign up. It's just that a garage sale is a good example. Now first, let's take a look at what's wrong with this, and then we'll design the perfect poster for your personal or small business needs using Xara Designer.
In this comedy of errors, first, consider the placement of your ad. It's important because you can't sell something if your audience can't read your sign. This sign is on the far side of traffic, so no one's going to read it. If the sign was rotated to face the proper lane and the arrow was reversed, then you'd be talking road to success. Choice of fonts is important. The folks who are having this garage sale apparently own only a worn-out felt-tip marker for creating signage. Fortunately, you own Xara. I'll recommend some typefaces in a moment, and you'll achieve a message that can be read from 3 villages away. Poorly placed text is a bad reflection on a designer's sense of planning. The folks having this sale apparently want to reuse this sign, so they scribbled over the original date and scrawled "today" on the sign. Fine. What day is today? These signs are going to take a bruising from the wind and weather more than necessary, so don't use an inkjet printer, use a laser printer. Get some cardboard, some rubber cement from your kids' school supplies, a utility blade, and a metal ruler. And after you print the sign, do the trimming on the garage floor. Let's begin with a roundup of typefaces you'll want. If you have the physical copy of the Xara install disc, you might have such fonts as Flanders, Focus, Migra Heavy, and Tempest Heavy installed. If you don't, you're really not out of luck because these are all look-alike faces for industry standards such as Futura, Helvetica, and Antique Olive. You can substitute any of these. You just need one very bold typeface for this sign, and you own a lighter weight when you install Windows. It's called Century Gothic. You can also do a web search for a bold typeface. I found part of the Futura family for free in less than 5 minutes. Let me discuss good typography for a moment before we begin. You'll see shortly that I'm mixing Helvetica with Century Gothic and Futura. This is not good typography because families artistically clash. Ideally, you'd use members of the same font family, such as Futura here, so I'm sort of teaching you to slum it, but only if you can't find or afford the faces you need. These are all good sans serif Gothic typefaces, so they're sort of a good match, and come on, this is an outdoor neighborhood sign anyway. Let's talk page setup in Xara Designer now. Most personal printers take a standard sheet of paper. In the US, this is 8.5 by 11 inches. I'll show you how to tile your print of your design at the end of this tutorial. So I'm thinking a 17 by 22 inch space is good enough to define in Xara Designer 4 times a standard US page. If you use European standard sizes, 4 sheets of A4 comes out to about 23.38 inches wide and 16.54 inches high. There's no reason why you can't reverse out the headline. Create a black rectangle toward the top center of the page. Use the rectangle tool. Now click the text tool at the left edge of the rectangle, hold shift, and then type garage sale, so it's all caps. Highlight the text with the text tool cursor, and then choose the boldest sans serif font you have installed. Now click white on the color line. Switch to the selector tool and then scale the text to fit within the black rectangle. Let's get the dates going for this garage sale. These elements need to stand out, but they also need to be subordinate to the headline, garage sale. They need to be legible but not as punchy as the headline. Click another insertion point on the page and type Saturday, April 21st, hit return, and then type Sunday, April 22nd. Highlight the 2 lines and then click the center justify button on the info bar. With the words still highlighted, choose Arial Condensed from the font drop-down list and then click the bold button on the info bar. Now, the words in the date are not of equal importance. April 21st and April 22nd will resonate with the viewer more than the actual days. So highlight April 21st and make it the same font you used for garage sale, and then do the same for April 22nd. With the selector tool, try to visually center these two lines just below Garage Sale. Type the hours for the sale. Use the Garage Sale bold font, and you can smush the text a little, and it's still legible, as you can see here. What you're doing is creatively fitting text to a layout, which is what designers and desktop publishing people do every day. Now type the address. For artistic balance, the address can be as large as the headline, but lighter in weight than the headline. Weight and size are tools to focus an audience on what you, the designer, want the reader to read. Apply Century Gothic bold to the text, and try to keep all the elements centered as you scale them and arrange them. Now, seriously consider an equal number of signs with left-facing and right-facing arrows, and make the arrows big. By doing this, your hired help, your kids, can choose which way a sign's arrow is facing when they get to a pole. Another consideration is to put some text inside the arrow. Why? Two truths. First, people will read the lettering inside of the arrows, so you can make a large arrow for the sign and then put a selling point inside the arrow in white text, such as "All sane offers accepted." This will make bargain hunters feel as though they're on easy turf. Second, regardless of how small you print it, people can read the words free, new, and save with both their eyes closed. So without messing up the various weights of text on the sign, you can run "Save dollars" about 5 or 6 times across the top of the page at about 24 points, and it will get read. To create the arrow, drag a rectangle with the rectangle tool toward the bottom of the sign. Press Escape to deselect the rectangle, then choose the Quick Shape tool. Set the number of size to 3, and make sure the Start Shape button is not depressed. Cheer it up if necessary. Hold Control to constrain the direction of the shape, and then drag left. With the Selector tool, put the triangle, the arrowhead, to the left of the rectangle. While holding Shift, click the rectangle, and then press Ctrl-G to group the two shapes. Now the arrow can be reversed by clicking the mirror button on the standard bar later. With the Text tool, type a catchy saying, apply Arial Narrow Bold to it, give it a white fill, and then put it over the arrow and scale it up. Finally, you can use Arial Narrow Bold to type Save, $, or whatever currency your neighborhood uses, followed with a centered period. To make bullets with almost any typeface, you hold Alt and then press 0, 1, 4, 9 on the numerical keypad and then release Alt. This is called an extended character. Copy the phrase, put your cursor at the end of the phrase, and then paste the copy a few times. It's probably a good idea to put a thin border around the sign so you can see where to trim it after printing. With the Rectangle tool, drag a rectangle to inside the page border but outside the sign text. Give it a 4-point width with no fill. Choose Edit, Pages, Duplicate Current Page. On the duplicate page, reverse the arrow. If you think you have everything arranged and centered, choose File, Export, and then export to Adobe Acrobat PDF file format instead of printing the sign from Xara. Why do this? Because Acrobat Reader and Acrobat Pro both have print driver options that let you tile a page that's larger than the paper sitting in your tray. In Acrobat, you choose File, Print, make sure you have the printer you want specified, and you've loaded up fluorescent or other paper in the tray. Then you choose Tile Large Pages. Give the pages about a 1/4 inch overlap, and then make sure the size of the overall document is correct, because Acrobat doesn't always scale a page correctly. 80%, not 100%, gives me 22 by 17 inches here. Enable cut marks so you have a guide, and if the preview shows only 4 tiling pages, you're good to print. Now that you've printed and posted the garage sale sign of your dreams, I think it's safe to say that you're going to make a fortune with your sale. See? You already got my attention. I'm your first customer. Barb, look what I got.
Okay, not in our yard. No, not in the garden. No, it's ugly. No, not in our garden.